Right now it's about 92 degrees. So this past weekend, we went to the beach, spent some time with the family. So I was, going to the ocean, and I see this kid juggling with a soccer ball, and I said, I haven't juggling for a while, so I just, basic juggling, and I mean, really, really basic, right? And, we probably did it for maybe, I don't know, it was really hot. So probably about, 15 minutes, we juggled the ball, and, between juggling and running at the beach for, I didn't took a long space because there was a lot of people at the beach. And then I pulled a bloody muscle, and that I was just in a long time. I was like, ow! So I couldn't walk for about a day, and I say, I gotta keep moving forward, because the more we wait in anything else, the longer we progress. So, but the tricky part that a lot of folks that I see on social media that are in their 20s and their 30s, like I'm plus 50, brothers, and I'm pretty proud as far as the physical condition that I'm in. But I gotta constantly challenge my body to, we do run, going to the gym, but there's certain exercises that you haven't have been challenged in a while, because your body's telling me, say, bro, you've been doing some of these workouts, but that was about maybe 20 years ago. Juggling the ball and do some sprints at a full speed, and just kind of put your body on a stress level that you're actually like putting some strength, grabbing the heavier dumbbells and you do some sit-ups, grabbing the kettlebell, and I wish I've been doing that, but I haven't been, just kind of like, so I'm going to put more strength and just keep going, right? So since we run a lot, I say, yeah, maybe because we've been running too much, we need to start doing some hardcore strength training, which is necessary for our bodies, because it's proven, as our bodies get old, you actually start losing body mass, because we don't, when we're younger, we run, we go for walks, and we do maybe practice some sports and tennis. But after you start, as David Goggins always mentions about become civilized, right? So the more civilized we become, more addicted to sitting on chairs and, having the long weekends. Like, I don't have this because, my daughters came from out of town, so we spend time with the family. But this past weekend made me realize that I gotta keep these legs even more in check and do more of a strength training, more of a, those like jump-ins and more climbing. So, and maybe I need to do some ball juggling, because I tell you, I was like, and that was with no shoes. That's why running with a barefoot is so good. There's a lot of exercise like strength training. Your body has to be challenged every day, your body and your mind. So when I got that muscle pull, I was like, holy mackerel. And right between in the thigh and kind of like the inside thigh, it was just, it's very, very, very uncomfortable, because every time you walk, the muscle pulls you in, and it's just very uncomfortable. And especially, the older you get. But I say, you know what, that's fine. So we did go for a walk, and tomorrow is my lay day, so we're gonna do probably maybe a 3-mile run in the morning because it is like 92 degrees. And, even my wife is doing great, because she doesn't work like me inside. So she has a very active job. So I cannot put her in. And even though she comes and does the miles with me, but she hasn't done like 92 degree weather. It's very, very, you gotta train your body. That's what I'm walking right now. And actually I do pretty well in the heat, but you gotta have the correct hydration, and don't underestimate this, the weather. Don't underestimate the weather, because people have died of heat exhaustion, at any age. People within the 30s and the 20s, and even at my age, they say, "Oh no, yeah, I can." There's this guy that passed away a few months ago, and there's a popular hiking, and it is on the Grand Canyon. It's called the rim to rim to rim. So most people, they do one time going to the rim, but it's about, it's about 15 miles. But when you hike in the mountains, he goes, we are getting used to do a lot of hiking, but there's no inclination. But when you add weather, inclination, altitude, and a mountain walk, you're talking about a whole different monster. That's why I always try to go on hikes with his inclination, and then you climb mountains. You go so you can prepare your body. But so anyway, so this old guy, I believe he was 78 years old, and he just, because there's, even though there's water stations across the path, but still you gotta be very careful. See, I'm pretty close to home, so I always carry my bladder, my water, and if I know there's gonna be like 90 degrees, I have water on my car. I just went to, I just bought this gallon of water, and actually I found it in Under Armour, so which I like, because it's a perfect size, and they modified the handles so there's no like little plasticky handles, so it's just hard to grab. So I grabbed that one. So I'm like, if I'm going for a run like tomorrow, it's not gonna be that hot, but we gotta sync our bodies. We gotta train our bodies, man. I'm telling you. So this past weekend, I was like a little hiccup, and like, holy what's going on, right? But you execute, you pre-plan, and you act accordingly. But the best medicine is to go for a walk. So hit the like button and sing your body. Hit the like button and have a good afternoon, man. Just sing your bodies and go kill it, and drink plenty of water, because it is hot.